What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the final regular season episode of the Guys of Texas. Texas rolls into College Station with a 17-7 win. I'm exhausted. Holy smokes, but what a weekend. Kind of wanted to talk a little bit about experience before we go over the game, like just kind of give my vibe of kind of how the game day was. We did not go to actual game day. There was just no chance of doing that. We woke up after we recorded. The boys were out shopping. I go meet up with them at the warehouse. Number one, A&M's merch game is just unmatched. Like they have just the most absurd amount of different styles of merchandise to the point to where they actually allow people to design their own shirts and put them up in the store. Like it's, and there was one that was disgusting. That Astros Aggie, I was fine walking around. Number one, the first thing I walk into this warehouse trying to find the guys because they had already been there. So I just Ubered over there and I'm in full gear walking in and everyone is staring at me. When I was waiting for my Uber, I get a car pull in where I'm waiting, and this college girl gave me the angriest horns down I have ever seen. I mean, it was just like her boyfriend just broke up with her that morning. It was like oh my god. But yeah, got a lot of trash talk, a lot of eyeballs of why are you even in this warehouse? Finally met up with the boys.
Yeah, it looked like a flea market when you sent us pictures from there.
Dude, and that's one building. There's three
Yeah.
buildings right together right there that they all have different stuff. But they have an absurd amount. Like I actually was very jealous of the amount of gear that they have. That's the one thing about Texas is I wish we had better merchandise. I'm not gonna buy Lululemon. Like it's just not gonna happen. Let's figure something out here. But yeah, their merch game was on point. Everyone was really nice. The howdy thing, they say howdy everywhere. Everywhere. Like you're just walking by, howdy. I'm like, oh my. Like, I mean, I know I'm in Texas, but it was over the top every
It
time they said
feels.
howdy.
Does it feel like they're trying too hard?
No, it was like
Yeah.
it's again one of their 9,472 traditions that they have at their school. So we go to Northgate again, ran into Quan, ran into a couple buddies, ran like Sarah, one of her old officers, ran into him. He's an A&M guy. Got to say hi to him before the game. Met up with a bunch of people. We stayed. I mean, we tried to get something to eat, dude. It was 12:31 by the time we actually got something to eat. We went to Dixie Chicken. It was slammed, so we did not actually eat there. We just found I was like, I need to find something. There's a food truck with taco. It's just a taco truck, like just your typical Mexican food taco truck. And I was like, done. And I pounded a burrito. It is the backyard. That's where I saw Quan because I saw Quan talking about on Twitter how he's not built for tailgating. They're wanting him to go tailgate. He goes, no, like I'm not built for it. And so we talked for a second about that. But overall, the vibe was good. Everyone was they wanted to talk trash, but they were nice. Now, my sexuality was questioned many a times. Yeah, like I came home going I might be gay. I've been told so many times that yeah, it was a running joke the entire night. But so the tailgate scene is huge. Like we didn't even by the time we got done, we did another podcast at the apartment real quick because the boys were there and they saw the equipment. They're like, let's do one. I was like, finally. All right. So we sat them down, we did our little podcast, and then we Uber to Reed Arena and then start walking. And there is a spot where you go underneath. There's a roadway that you go underneath in this big tunnel. And I have video of it and I'll post it. It is just a massive uh just amount of people. Like you're walking in and you've got UT fans who, yes, they showed up. There was a lot of UT fans. I would have expected a little bit more. But there you got UT fans screaming Texas fight. You've got them doing their 9,000 chants that they have through the tunnel, and it is loud. It was it's a very cool experience to see. Everyone's just flooded in this. It's probably a 50, 60 foot wide tunnel. and just walking right down. It was an awesome experience. And we got into the stadium. The Boy Scouts take your tickets. Don't worry, boys. I was scouting out future plans. So Boy, I tried to slide through, and Boy Scout stopped me. Like this little 12-year-old's like, "Excuse me, sir, you need a ticket." It's like, "Oh, okay, yes, sir." We scanned the ticket and got in, but game starts. So they did it weird. Number one, the whole time, even the Aggie, my Aggie buddies Kyle and Mark and all them, they're like, "I don't understand why midnight yells at 5:30. I don't understand." The flyover was at 4:30. They did a flyover, but it was at 4:30.
That's strange.
Odd.
Yeah, I saw when y'all were doing y'all's pod, y'all were talking about hearing the flyover happen.
There's an airport directly next to like that whole area we were at, and the fighter jets are loud. But then all last night after the game, the amount of private jet, it was just every 2 minutes, just it's like, good Lord.
Yeah.
But you texted me and said my cursor's on my screen. You can see my cursor.
I mean, there's a cursor at the top of the screen right now.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know what. I don't even see it.
I can't see.
Is that your cursor, dude?
No, mine is not there.
Okay. I saw the text. I was like, oh no. So I've like been freaking out, like trying to figure out like where is this? I don't see it. So I think we're good. But no, the overall game experience, as we kind of discussed, first quarter was loud. They started doing their chants, and I look over at Kyle. I was like, "Hey, man, the second you start that swaying stuff," we had the exact aisle seats, and I was sitting the second one in. I said, "The second we start swaying, I'm out." And so he was like, "Here we go." So I jumped up, got in the aisle, and everyone else. That entire stadium, dude, I've never felt. We were on the third deck, and that whole stadium is literally the concrete's just swaying. I was like, "Okay, like this is not good." I'm shocked that thing is held together as well as it does, because they do that. They only did it once. I was expecting to do it a lot more, but they only were able to do that once, because I'm pretty sure they do it. I don't know if they do it for touchdowns or what. We only saw one, and I don't remember it at that point. But they were loud. They had a ton of chants. And
was it as loud as you expected?
Yeah, it was as loud as I expected for the first quarter. Like, it was loud. I saw Gunner post on there. He goes, "That was loud." It's like, I mean, everyone talks about that. Yeah, they're loud, but they don't have a football team to back it up. Yeah. Like, you're up by 30, and that stadium is rocking the whole night. They started leaving third quarter, like it started flooding out in the third quarter. What else? The milkmen are weird. Like, the whole chant thing. Like, it was cool to see that you guys have been practicing these chants for 15 years, and you actually get to play the team that you're actually talking about the whole time. So that was nice for them to actually fulfill that. Like, oh, this is the team we've been talking about in our songs and chants the whole time.
It actually makes sense now.
Yeah, but it was a really cool experience. Mo Bamba played a lot, and I continue to say that's our basketball player. They didn't like that. But overall, it was good. There was an incident before the game even started. There's this drunk college kid, and we're 2 rows, but like the entry that you get into your section, we're like 3 or 4 rows below that. And all of a sudden, before the game even starts, I just hear boom, boom, and there's a college kid going up the section and falls all the way down, knocks this old lady. I turn around, this old lady's on her back, slammed her head down. I'm getting up, checking on the lady. Kyle's chasing the kid because he tried to run off. So Kyle grabs the guy, and police get him. Lady ends up, she came back to the game. I mean, she was like 80. She was like 80 years old, and laying on her back. It's like, oh my God. So they're
Jesus.
The college kids still can't handle their liquor, but it was the experience was good. A little underwhelming. I mean, Texas really took control of that crowd for most of the game. The only loud part they got was that interception. That was the loudest I had heard them. But overall, it was like, I mean, during the plays, it was loud. Like, it definitely was loud.
I mean, I was really curious about what the vibe was like in the third and fourth quarter, and then leaving the game. Like, did it quiet down a lot, or did they stay really involved? Did they start leaving?
Fourth quarter wise, it was, third quarter, I was busy booking a flight. to Atlanta. So didn't really pay much attention then. But fourth quarter, it really started like dispersing pretty quickly. Like we had moved down to where Kyle and them were sitting. Kyle and John were sitting down in the second deck. So we had moved down there. And then we get to 2 minutes, and I was like, boys, I got to go sing Eyes of Texas. Where do I go? And Kyle's like, you better go now. So I booked it down, got there right as finally found the band to where everybody's going to be, where they ran out of the tunnel, and got to sing Eyes of Texas there. But
You didn't make them go with you?
Oh, no. They'd suffered
You
enough.
hung out with them and their Aggie stuff all weekend?
Brother, they were very nice. They had my back the entire time. It was a boys' trip. To be honest, it's not a OU vibe. Like if it's OU fans, like I don't know if I could go with OU fans. Like to be honest, I just don't like. A&M's just a different vibe as far as that goes. Like everyone's still nice. Like they'll talk trash. You've obviously got your college kids and everything that are in the truck. I mean, the amount of trucks that I saw with 40 people in it, and like all the college kids are in the back of the truck and they see us, and you're just screw Texas. That wasn't the language they were using. They were very abrupt, but they're all in the truck. The second you get out of the truck, they're not doing that. But it was overall, I give it like. I give it a 7.5 experience based off of what my expectations were. Like it was loud. Like power came on. It was cool. One thing they're missing is their light shows. Like they don't do anything with their lights. Like you would think night game power comes on, that power of the lights go off and make that place hype. Like that's the one thing that Texas does really well is creates that atmosphere. And the atmosphere was very lackluster during the game. Like they have so many traditions, but you're going to have to pass off some of those and start creating new stuff.
Did they do the drone show that they had been practicing?
I did not see a drone show, although at the third quarter, like second and third quarter happened. That's when we were doing the rotation. Like I had to go to the bathroom bad. Like it was, beers were flowing. And so I wasn't there for any of that, but it did not seem like it. It did not seem like the third quarter had much of anything because it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Afterwards, after the game, it was a little bit difficult to get out where we were at just because all the Texas fans were then flooding out. So we were on the first level, and then where you leave, you have to get on a ramp where you're getting everybody from the third deck still coming down, and then we're all merging together. So it was it took me probably about 20 minutes to get out of the stadium, and I was right next to the exit. But then we go to Northgate. Cell service there is god awful. It's terrible. I finally get a hold of somebody. They're like, we're meeting at Northgate at the sake bar. I said, okay. I get to the sake bar. I go into the sake bar. There's nobody. I can't find them anywhere. So I'm just standing in the road trying to find anybody. And finally I get my phone it just says my phone had SOS, dude. Like there's literally zero service. And so finally get a hold of one of them. They're like, come to Rebels. So I finally find them at Rebels. That's where we meet those guys. There was John, I was telling the story. There were two guys there. They were outside the stadium, didn't have tickets. And in the third quarter, a ticket scalper went up to him and was like, hey, do you want to buy these badges? They're $75. I'll give them to you for $75. Yeah, they took them. They were press passes. They were showing me videos of them on the field for the third quarter.
That's awesome.
For $75 a piece. It's like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
Oh,
dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. So then I stayed out till like 12:30, and then my phone just again zero service. So you're not getting an Uber. So I walked 2 miles to get back to my spot. Phone died before I even get halfway, so I had to make sure I knew the direction I was going the rest of the way. Made it home. And then woke up this morning, packed up, and got to the house. But overall, it was a great experience. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the boys in a long time. Being able to hang out with them. John allowed me to come hang out with the Aggie crew. We're now talking about 2 years from now getting a house and bringing everybody down for 2 years from now. So I did make a bet with Kyle that Texas in 2 years is going to be absolutely a force. I made that Friday night, and he then put a reminder in his phone for 2 years from now with my quotes. So that's going to be interesting.
Are they
Firmly
not
believe.
coming to Austin?
I mean, they all live here, so yeah. I mean, yeah, Kyle and all them are in this area, so we'll figure out. I mean, we know the way to get them in, so we'll see
What
there.
was y'all's pregame bet about scoring?
27 points. That A&M would score more than 27 points. Yeah, that was solidified. Yeah, that one. Uh, I mean, we'll talk about the game a little bit, I guess. Texas wins 17-7. Looking at the stat line, it kind of, especially for A&M, I mean, Marcel Reed, 146 yards passing, 1 interception. He was the leading rusher as well with 60 yards with 14 carries. Amari Daniels, 13 carries, 21 yards. That's because Klein just decides the only play we're allowed to run is up the middle. Yeah. EJ Smith had 1 carry. That was somebody I was excited to actually see play, being a Cowboy fan, but only got to see him run once. Their leading receiver was Busey with 40 yards. They had 2 fumbles. They lost one of them. How many sacks did they? I had 1 sack on Quinn. On the flip side of the ball, Quinn had 218 yards, 17 completions, and 28 attempts, 1 TD, 1 interception. Wisner just is being an absolute horse right now. 33 carries, 186 yards. He was unstoppable this game. My surprise stat of the game if you told me this, I'd just think crazy is Quinn. 4 yards for 29 yards or 4 carries for 29 yards. And that one long run, boys, just so I was on that sideline. I was staring down it. Why Quinn ran out of bounds, I don't know, because the lane was so wide open. He could have gotten easily 30 more yards. It was crazy. Then I'll finish up
like
here.
He was moving in slow motion the entire time.
He most definitely was. It's like, oh, he's moving. And then the defenders just moved away from I'm literally down the line, and Kyle's like, I don't know what's going on. They're just moving away from him. Passing-wise, receiving, Golden leads with 73 yards. Blue with a touchdown. Arch Manning with a touchdown. 1 fumble. Quinn fumbled and lost the ball. And then the defense puts up 3 sacks on A&M. Taff with the interception. Auburn with a missed field goal that I called before, like literally he's up to kick, and we're about to go get more beers, and Kyle's like, you don't want to say the kick? I was like, no, he's gonna miss this. Like, it's just Auburn is just, you can just feel it. And sure enough, we come back and goes, oh my god, he missed it. And it's like, yeah, that's Auburn. So what did you boys think of the game?
We were playing squares over at Zach's house. We were watching the game and felt so
I saw the Venmo
because I was having to cheer for Auburn. I was pretty confident Auburn was going to miss that kick, and I needed him to win my second round of squares. So as soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh, he's missing this. He always misses. He always misses the first one." So I locked it in, pocketed a good amount of money last night off of winning 2 quarters of squares.
Nice. But don't worry about calling me for squares. That's fine. I don't like squares.
Sorry, I think you were having a pretty good time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I was. Probably didn't have service.
Yeah, for real. I'm surprised you were able to get those videos to come through while you're still in the stadium.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Overall vibe from the game, my biggest takeaway is I don't feel like the score represents how that game felt. I felt like we dominated that game so much more than that score actually shows. I was happy to see Quinn, and also, like, I don't know what y'all's opinions are of it, but the whole Arch package, I liked it. I liked that you finally get to like mend both sides of the fence of people that are cheering for Arch and people that are cheering for Quinn.
Yep.
With that situation, I don't know if it works long term, like through the playoffs, if that ends up biting them in the butt, just like Quinn struggling, let's put Arch in there. But I liked it for this game, and it worked. It worked awesome. Trey Wisner. I'm really curious how. I mean, he just looked dominant. I mean, the last 2 games he's been playing so well at just getting more yards after contact. I'm curious how that game plan will hold up against Georgia, considering how that game went last time. Has our O-line improved? Is it going to hold up for next game? But right now, it's been awesome. I'm really impressed by him. But good game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the score definitely didn't tell the dominance. That game could have easily been 31-0 or 31-3 or something at that point. But, man, the offensive line and defensive line, man, that was the key to the game for us. The offensive line continued to push. whenever we couldn't get a consistent, throwing game from Quinn, we just ran the ball and they couldn't stop it for the majority of the game, man. It was crazy that we were able to gash them for 5 yards at a time. And then you look at the defensive line, man, the way that we were able to contain Reed was super fun to watch, man. That you could tell that they had a game plan down and they were executing it perfectly because they would keep him contained in that pocket. And then as soon as he would step up, they would either be Hill or it would be Simmons right there in his face. And, either one of those guys can go toe to toe with him as far as lateral speed. So, man, it was super fun to watch defensively. It's a shame we had a couple of, mistakes that really kind of kept A&M around with the interception and then the fumble, the, missed field goal, the block punt. Those are a lot of things that just can't happen in these games going forward. It almost cost a near perfect defensive performance, but just the initial drive from A&M set the tone for the whole entire game. Them being able to stone the ball them on that fourth down inside the 10-yard line or 11-yard line, wherever it was, that just set the tone for the entire game for that defense. And it was super fun to watch. I never really felt threatened, even when A&M was down there and potentially are going to make it 17-14. I just still felt like we were in control of the game. But, man, that was a lot of fun to win in that fashion. I wish we could have extended it out a little bit, but it's hard not to be super stoked with that defensive performance.
Yeah, I had that realization we were in the third quarter. I forget how far through the third quarter, but I'm like, man, this whole game has been light and lighthearted on our part, and just a lot to cheer for, having a good time. And all of a sudden, those few mistakes happen. Like, oh crap, are we about to get to the nail biter where they start coming back on us? And I was telling people to start to quiet down. I need to focus on this game. This could get serious at any moment.
Yeah, it got to a point for me when the interception happened. I'm going, oh, did I just make a great mistake by booking a flight at halftime? In my mind, I'm like, oh no. But even the first drive, I remember they were driving the ball really well, the first drive.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like, this defense does not stop. I don't care where you're at on the field. This defense will do everything to keep you from getting in. Sure enough, they come in. I mean, you look at A&M though. They put points up there. That's a one-score game at the end of the game that you're looking at. So now I think realistically, Sark changes his game plan in the second half a little bit if it is a one-score game. But overall, it just felt so comfortable. Overall, the defense never gave up points, which is huge for them to pitch a shutout. They've played, and people are now starting to call them a real elite defense in the media. We're now starting to get the respect that we should, especially this defense should be getting. That's the thing right now is with this team, defensively, we're so good that our offense, and they've done this all year, they just got to be mediocre. And once they have the lead, they just got to hold on to it, run the clock, give the defense a rest. That's the biggest things. And that's what we're built for right now. And I can't remember. There's never been a time for me that I have praised. When I talk about Texas football, I talk about defense more than I talk about offense. That's where we're at now, and that's crazy to think about because we've never been that way. We've had good defenses, but we always talk about the offense. It's every podcast we're talking about the defense on this when we're doing recaps because that's how good they are, and we're just going to get better. What is that? 9 interceptions in a row, 9 games, I think, that we've had an interception. I mean, the boys are feeling it.
It's such an opposite from what our secondary was last year. I mean, we had key pieces in the defense, but we didn't have that back end just is not letting anything happen. I'm happy it turned around, but no one would have predicted it. It's awesome.
No. I mean, especially the guys we lost.
Did y'all realize that the interception Quinn threw was tipped?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I did a rewatch today. I was what in the world happened there? And I was watching it and realized the ball got tipped on it, and it got me a lot more.
Yeah, I remember Sark talking about that. Yeah, I mean, honestly though, Quinn wise, look at the way. I mean, some of those passes were the one that blew in the end zone. I'm on the opposite side. I'm 300 yards away from the field. I can't see anything. It looked like he drilled the defender in the back with the football. And then all of a sudden we're reviewing. I'm like, what are we reviewing? I look on the screen. It's like, oh, Like
Dude,
that
the
one,
Gunnar
the pass.
Helm one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Gunnar Helm one, even Kyle was like, that was a needle. Like, holy smokes. And then Golden, like he threw the deep ball a little bit yesterday. Like I think Quinn did enough to win football games. And I think he's starting, like, especially with that ankle, dude. That's what shocked me the most is how well he played with that ankle. There were so many flashes that, yeah, we got to clean some stuff up, but our defense is so good right now. Now we got on offense, we can't let the defense just stay on the field. So we've got to burn that clock, which Weisner is helping with that a lot. But Quinn, Quinn just is what he is. We talked about this last couple of weeks. Like he's not elite. Like I'll say it. He's a great quarterback. Like he manages the game very well. So he's just got to do enough to win the games.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's frustrating to watch at times because I was like texting Joe during the game last night, and I'm like, God, Quinn will do something like that and frustrate the crap out of you, and then the next time he throws the ball, and you're like, I don't even know if there's any other quarterback in college football that can make that throw right now. So it's just like so confusing. You could tell he was really timid with that ankle, and I watched that interception over and over and over again with that linebacker that came in a little bit late on the blitz. You could tell as soon as he started going down to hit him, he immediately jumped up off of that ankle because he knew he was about to get drilled.
Yep.
So that's why that ball came out, soft and fluttered and got tipped. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's definitely a love hate with Quinn, but like I'm still behind him 100%. That's QB1. I still think he's the guy to take us where we need to go. But I am completely open to that Arch RPO package that they had. I think that works really well down there, especially inside the red zone. Just having the threat of Arch's legs, and then obviously we know Arch can make throws if he needs to. So I'm 100% down to keep that package rolling because, that was a ballsy call by Sark, man, to throw Arch Manning in on 4th and 2 on the road against A&M. Like that's insane to me, and that just shows the trust that he has in him. So I'm definitely down to see that against Georgia a little bit at times if necessary.
Yeah.
When that happened, I was so far up that the quarterback starts running. I'm like, what is Quinn doing? Why is he running?
How's he
And all of a
moving
sudden
so
I'm like, well, that's not Quinn at all. I was like, oh, it's Arch. Because I had that parlay. I had just like an absurd parlay. It was like 25 or $50 would have won me like $3,500. And that was part of it. But yeah, there was others that screwed me. But I was like, oh, we are going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell it caught Elko off guard, man. You could tell it caught Texas A&M off guard whenever because the first time you could tell, there was linebackers like trying to figure out what's going on. They didn't call a timeout. And then the next time we ran it down there, you could tell it was the same thing. They made that switch quickly, and Elko was running down the sideline trying to get a timeout. That dude was out of breath the whole game. I don't know if y'all realize that. The entire game, every time they showed him, I mean, he was just like hoofing for air, dude.
I was loving watching his frustration, especially that 12 men on the field.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he was going crazy.
Dude, he got that targeting. Okay, was it targeting?
There was a targeting that got reversed, and he got pretty upset about it.
Yeah, but in your opinion, was it targeting?
I don't think so.
I saw the helmet glance, but it looked like he was leading with his shoulder.
Yeah.
The only thing I was surprised of is it was called that on the field.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see enough to say that no, it's not. It's kind of one of those whatever the call on the field is.
Well, they always
back it up. But
if there's ever a question with those, I mean, they always.
I get what targeting is a big thing. So, but it was close. But I don't think it was, textbook.
I mean, I felt there was no crown of the helmet. Like he never lowered his, he never leaned his head in for it. Like it was a glance of the helmet, but you could even see in his body movement, like he was going down towards the ball the entire time. Like I don't think it's targeting. I could if it went, I'd be mad, but I would understand why they called it. But I think they got it
right. There was a blatant hold that A&M did not get called. Like A&M did not get the call again. 32 quarters they have not had a holding penalty against them or like called for them. 32 quarters of football.
That's actually insane.
It's like Kyle was like, I mean, there was one that I looked behind on the big screen. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was a hold for sure. It was one of the longer runs at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And it was clear state. Although they missed the face mask on the defender in the end zone. I saw that one after the game. But I mean, overall, I thought the game. Boy, they
You're talking
hate the
about when he was
SEC
doing
refs, boy.
jujitsu out there in the end zone, throwing it
Yeah,
over.
dude. Yeah. I saw that from across the way. Like I'm so far away, and I still saw that. I was like, oh my, let's tone it down.
I love that they were getting chippy and physical in the field, but it wasn't going crazy like the Ohio State
Right.
Michigan game.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that because I mean, I guess we can segue into that. Like Sark, like the boys start trying to get on the field. Was it Makuba over there, just right in the middle of it? And they Sark gets over and takes him off. Thing is, Sark's in the press conference saying, "Yeah, no, I needed our boys off the logo. We don't need to be planting flags on the team's logos, all that." And the video I'm watching is showing him in a press conference, then also showing us at the OU game where we're planting a flag on Baker Mayfield's jersey in the middle of the field. So, I mean that one is a little different. Like the A&M logo is their logo. The Cotton Bowl or the Red River Shootout is both our logos. So that one's kind of a little bit different.
I mean, it's a drastic difference between watching Ryan Day just stand there and stare compared to Sark, who like stops an interview and runs over there and gets his players off.
Right.
It was insane to like when they started panning to Ryan Day just standing there with like a blank look on his face, just staring. Like I was blown away.
He's like, "What's going on? What happened?"
Yeah, deer in headlights, dude. Yeah. Like, who cares what happened? Obviously, your players are fighting. Let's get them off the field. That's why I was impressed with Sark doing that last night. You know, just immediately getting control of his guys. They saw that Sark was barking at him, and the guys immediately were like, "All right, we're good. Let's get out of here." So, yeah, that was bizarre with Ryan Day. Like, straight deer in headlights. I don't know what he was doing.
Well, the video I saw was on the field next to him as he's just staring and like into the space. And his players like, "No, they're not planting that flag on our field. This is 4 years in a row. They're not planting." I'm like, hey, bud, you might want to win a game, and you might want to figure out how to fight during the game because you guys just look like complete morons. Yeah, like you had no business letting them win that game. Of all teams, all Michigan teams you play, you lose to this one. That's crazy. Yeah. We'll get into that game, but oh my god! Anything else from this game that you guys had?
I was going to bring up something from the game. So, TJ, I don't know if you noticed it being there in person, but Sark was really upset during the game that A&M was pumping in music up until we were lined up and we were sitting there even calling audibles, and there was still music being pumped in. And you could tell like Sark was on the refs screaming like crazy about it because they would play music until that ball was snapped. And that's it's pretty crazy because I don't feel like I really see that too often in college football, especially up to that point.
I paid attention to that. So I couldn't hear it because I was so far up. But when I got to the game, because I had been told before this is like, no, dude, they don't put speakers on the field. Like that was for like some sort of military appreciation day, and they're not going to have speakers. Well, I show up, and that's the first thing I look for. There are speakers on the Texas side, and I look on the A&M side, and there is nothing over there. So I was like, And no, I did not see Sark getting upset about that, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, how are you going to be the loudest stadium in the nation and put speakers on your sidelines? Like that's the advantage you need? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to see. I mean, I don't have an issue with them playing music, do your thing, but like as soon as that huddle breaks, that's like the sign to bands stop playing, music stops playing. That's when the crowd volume goes up, That's just always how it is. But like as soon as they said it, and I was trying to figure out, I was like, man, Sark's super upset over there, and like that's weird for him to be that upset while we're on offense. Like I thought maybe they were missing a call or something, and then whenever the commentator said it, I was like, I really started paying attention to it, and I was like, oh crap, they are like pumping in music right up until inside 10 seconds on the play clock, which was crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
and I mean, Sark called that out at the press conference before the game, like 3 days before the game. He's like, "Hey, make sure the SEC refs know about that." So
yeah, they didn't call anything on that, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll get brought up this week.
Oh yeah. What else we got? Anything else for this game?
was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
It was.
Yeah, it felt good, man.
It was interesting. I mean, it came back alive with no problem at all. Even all the players and everything like we discussed that have too young to really experience what it was, man, it didn't skip a beat. Like all the
Yep.
energy was there. And I mean, I spent all day on Twitter just like watching everything that was happening. So it was so I was feeling like I was getting annoying just sending y'all stuff from Twitter that morning, but it was a lot of fun. I'm so happy it's back.
No, dude, I got a lot of those at 3 a.m. this morning from no service. So, all right, other games. Obviously, we've been talking about this Michigan Ohio State. It's unreal what we saw play out on that field. Like how Michigan kept turning the ball over and then continue to stay in the game, gift wrapping to Ohio State, and Ohio State couldn't cash in anything. Will Howard is terrible. Like, I don't understand how this continues to happen. What was the passing yards for Michigan? 62 passing yards. They won and beat number 2 in the country with 62 passing yards.
Yeah. And they even had that goal line interception, like should have sealed the game, and they couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 interceptions. Michigan gave up. Do they have any fumbles? Didn't look like it. No. But, I mean, come on.
Yeah, no way should Ohio State ever lose that game, dude. I was just watching it, and I was just waiting. You know, it just felt like it was one of those games you're just waiting. You're like, all right, Ohio State's going to wake up here. As soon as they score a touchdown, I'm like, Michigan's not going to be able to match as soon as they score a touchdown. But somehow, some way, Michigan was able to move the chains over and over again. You know, props to their running game because that's the only thing that really got them the win at that point in their defense. But man, dude, Brian Day, like that fan base is going for his head right now.
He's got to be. He has to be gone.
And it's crazy because they're still basically a lock for the playoffs. You know, I don't see any way they don't make the playoffs still. But it's just like the confidence in those Ohio State fans. I was going through reading some of the message boards from them after the game just to see, and they are like going for his head right now.
Oh yeah,
because this is just a game you can't lose, man.
Well, it's insane. I mean, it's the same thing that everyone's always talked about. How can you fire him if he's doing this well? But if you're forever just second, third best, you never can get there. Is it worth firing the guy? I don't know.
They do this over and over.
I'd be livid. I'd be livid.
Oh, dude. Can you imagine Sark doing this? Like Texas fan, like he wouldn't have been a coach here like 2 years ago. Like it's continual with him right now. And by the way, dude, Gus Johnson. Holy, so y'all were sending me clips, and I was like, what the play call number 1, and then at the end of the game, Michigan wins and they didn't have to cheat. That call was the craziest thing I've heard.
Dude, he was on one all game. His voice was gone to like start the game. Like as soon as the game started, I was like, "How is his voice already gone?" And then he's just screaming on that interception. It was just freaking cracking up because he was making some wild card comments, dude. Like more than normal. He normally makes some pretty bizarre comments, but that cheating line was like when I heard that, I was like, what?
I love Gus, man.
Oh man, what other games? Penn State smoked Maryland. Notre Dame beat USC. Miami. I think they're done. No, are they gonna? They've got to be done. They're
not 14. Playing. They're not playing for the ACC championship now. Clemson is in over them.
Yep, Clemson and my ponies.
Yeah, what did they drop to? They dropped to 14.
14 in the AP. Yes, they dropped 6 spots. Ohio State dropped 5 spots.
I think they put a 3-loss SEC team in over Miami at this point.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, you got South Carolina had the big win. I don't know if you'll watch any of that one.
You're not putting South Carolina in.
I don't know, man. It's close.
Dude, South Carolina's been playing so well. I mean, if there's questions, I feel they might.
They have, but
they'll put Bama in before they put.
They've always been head to head. So how are you going to put them in before Ole Miss? Like
they have some bad losses. That's the thing.
Yeah. Now, now they're ranked over Ole Miss in the AP poll, 13 South Carolina is at, and 15 for Ole Miss. So I don't know. A lot of crazy things will still happen this week that will kind of iron it all out a little bit. The Big 12, I'm pretty sure, is just going to get one bid. Like their automatic bid is like the champion is their only bid. Like it's crazy
absolutely.
that even start talking about last week. Now you've got Arizona State and who's the other one? Iowa State.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how is that your Big 12 championship now? Like that's crazy.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're not even going to. I mean, it's most likely they're not even going to get their conference bid.
Well, they can be complete. No, Arizona State's at 12. So if Arizona State.
Oh, okay. I missed Arizona State. My bad. Okay.
Yeah, Arizona State can get in, but that being said, they may not get the
bye.
They may not get the bye, right? Correct, because if Boise State wins, they would be a higher ranked conference champion.
Yeah, you've got Big Ten.
It appears.
SEC. Yeah.
So I don't know that yet.
I don't know how Notre Dame fits into that. Is Notre Dame just automatically not getting a bye, like no matter what? Like I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that's what it feels like because they keep talking about them hosting a game. That's all they were talking about in that USC game. They were just saying there's no way for them to get into that top four, which I guess there's no way possible for them to get into that since they're not in the conference. I don't know how that works.
How have we allowed them to still just not be in a conference, dude? Like it's 2024. Like go somewhere.
It's the way Jesus wants it, man.
That's right. So you've got SEC, Big Ten, and then you've got the ACC with SMU. If SMU wins, the ACC will get that bid. And then you've got Mountain West, Boise State. Boise State and SMU win. Big 12 will not get an automatic bye in the playoffs. So, and then it'll be one in. Although Arizona State loses, they still get in. The Big 12, I don't foresee. Is it 4 automatic bids or 5 automatic bids? It's 5, right? Not buys, but automatic bids. Top 5. I thought it was a top 5.
Yeah, it's 5.
So you got SEC, you got Big 10, you got ACC, you got Mountain West.
Is it 4 automatic and then?
It's 4 buys.
I thought it was an at-large, like 5. It's just no, not at large. Yeah, you're right. It's 5.
So then the Big 12 would, because Iowa State, BYU. Yeah, I mean, there's no other. I don't know how else that works. I mean, everyone keeps talking about it. Oh, I think American Athletic, the Army would be the one. Army or Tulane, or is Tulane the American Athletic, or what are they? I can't remember. God dang it. Let's see. Doesn't really matter because they're out, but I think they're American Athletic. Yeah, because Memphis is American Athletic. So that's the only way I think that they would have gotten out with the automatic bid. So I'm pretty sure the Big 12 will have one in. But overall, there's still a lot at stake here because you got Oregon, Texas, Penn State, and Georgia will all play this weekend. Tennessee, if you lose this game, I don't see how Tennessee jumps them. Either Texas or Georgia. I don't see that happening. It just can't be possible. But if Penn State wins, then all hell's breaking. If Penn State wins, then we have the number 1, right? And we win. It's got to be what it is. So. I mean, we're ranked in front of Penn State, so I mean, beating Georgia, like that's our only loss. Strength of schedule wise, it would help. So. There's a lot going on, boys. Yeah. There's a lot to happen, and I do have a flight booked. I do not have a ticket yet. So with that being said, I need to let every season ticket holder know that is watching this. I need a ticket, okay? I am 1 for 1 in championships for the conference for the University of Texas and attending, okay? You need me on that wall, as the great Jack Nicholson would say. So reach out. Let's get in touch. Let's get to the game.
Is your
I'm
ticket
super excited.
non-refundable?
I mean, it's Frontier, probably not, or it's probably non-refundable. But,
So you are committed. Okay.
I mean, I'm half committed. Like it was like $280 for the ticket.
Okay.
So yeah, for the plane round trip was $280. So you still got hotel, which is going to be about $400. Tickets are going to be about $400 plus Ubers. It's another $1,000. So as I say this, I'll be clipping this and putting the Sarah McLaughlin. You too could save a Texas Longhorn fan.
Does Sarah know yet?
Oh yeah, I immediately text her first. So I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I go to Atlanta?" So she's like, "I don't care. I'm working." It's like perfect.
Someone's got to pay the bills.
Yeah. Also need somebody to go with. Yeah, someone's got to pay the bill. That's correct. Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah. Need somebody to go with. So 2 tickets, and then if anyone wants to donate another plane ticket and all that. Yeah, I mean, then we'll just guarantee us an SEC championship. Would you like to guarantee an SEC championship? Although I'm on Twitter and these guys are like, no, I want to host a game. Shut up.
Yeah.
You want to lose the SEC championship? No,
Yeah,
dude. Can you imagine the trash talk we get to do for an entire season now if we win the SEC? Like, smoke.
The first addition to the SEC to ever win it.
And you could have the same thing in all the other conferences. If Oregon wins, they're the first time in the Big Ten. If SMU wins, it's the first time in the ACC. If Arizona State wins, it's the first time in the Big 12. Like,
that's crazy to think, dude.
Yeah, every single one of them has a newcomer in the championship. So, a lot at stake this weekend. Games at 3:30, I think. Yeah, 3:30, 2:30.
Right.
Yeah,
3 o'clock.
Yeah. Mercedes-Benz. That'll be an interesting stadium. They have a bigger scoreboard.
They've officially said that we're wearing burnt orange. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh no, did not.
Because they were trying to figure out what was going on. And a lot of the fan pages were asking for the icy white to kind of switch things up because we chose to wear the icy whites in the Big 12 championship last year. But we were the home team, and as far as I know, we got to choose, and they announced they're wearing the burnt orange.
Interesting. Right. I like it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it either way.
We will do a podcast sometime this week, talk about the game, talk about expectations. But yeah, anything else from this week? We do have our picks. I officially marked in red our conference champs. So SMU is in it. Miami is. Oh, I did not mark Miami's off. Let me go ahead and mark Seth's off real quick. So it is Clemson, SMU. It is not Ohio State. Loving that. Loving that. So basically, I have 2 in. Seth has 1. Seth has Georgia as the SEC champion. Yeah, dude. And then Jono has Texas and also Clemson for the ACC championship. Was how they snuck in.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Crazy.
Caveat: when we made these picks, I said Texas will win one time and Georgia will win one time. I had it in reverse order, so we already got our loss out of the way to Georgia.
No, dude, we're winning every SEC championship from now until the end of time. Okay.
No, I mean this season.
No, I don't care. I don't care. No. Oh, yeah. You're talking about 1-1 national championship versus. Yeah, I got you. Sell out. And then we have our final regular season standings for our pick'em. I came in last place, 24, 30, and 1. Seth had all the picks correct this week, but unfortunately falls 1 game short. Seth is at 27, 27, and 1, and Jono somehow sneaks away and is at 28, 26, and 1. Is this your second time winning this? Are you 2 for 2 in the season pick'em? I thought you won it last year.
I think I'm 2 for 2, and I think I won in the exact same fashion.
Yeah. You were definitely. I remember last year you were down. Yes,
trailing and then comes back at the end of the season.
This is all my fault for adding 5 from 3. This is all my fault.
Yeah, probably is, honestly.
Sorry about you. And then Seth somehow changed his pick to 17-7 on the score predictions.
No, dude, that's what I had last week.
Oh, that's so weird, dude. No, because none. If you would have said
We were not
17-7, I would be like, no one was close, but it's still a win. Oh yeah, 35-13. There it is. All right. Texas did cover. That would have been easy money if I could actually bet that. You guys got anything else?
Nope, just gonna enjoy the bragging rights for the rest of the year, man.
Yep.
For a full year.
Yep.
A&M's offense hasn't scored on us. It'll be 14 years by the time we play them.
Damn.
It's crazy.
That is absurd. And probably still won't have a quarterback. You know they were killing themselves watching Haynes King the night before go off.
Oh no,
Dude,
man.
for real. Dude,
Which also, who has no business shredding Georgia? We'll talk about that at the beginning or in the middle of this week. But
Yeah,
Haynes King had no business shredding Georgia like that. So
yeah.
Who is this team, Georgia?
Yeah. I think we get the same team we saw last week. We're not going to see the same team that we saw when they came to Austin. So
All right.
we'll talk about
I
it.
hope not.
Oh no, I know. I'm telling you, that's why I'm going. You can lock it in. It's a guarantee.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, boys?
No.
Good, man.
All righty. Well, until middle of the week, sometime. Don't know because I'm recovering still. We'll see you then. Hook 'em horns, boys.
Okay, baby.
Goodbye to A&M.